Hello, witches. I am High Priestess or Sophinus. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this live broadcast. Now, before I get into this broadcast, you might be wondering, what does this have to do with witches? What does the Israel-Palestinian conflict have to do with witches? Why are you talking about this? Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a little bit. Yeah, this does have some connection to us as witches. Now, we all woke up this morning to the conflict in Israel and Palestine, which has been happening for generations now. Let me say this. This broadcast is not for you if you are sensitive or you love being lied to. This broadcast is not for you if you don't like the truth or you enjoy living in a fantasy land and being fed lies. This broadcast is not for you. I'm not going to apologize. I'm simply going to tell you what the Queen of Witches is saying about this Israel-Palestine conflict. Israel and Palestine are both in the Middle East. But let me tell you something. You might not know this because a lot of people believe that the Middle East is a country all by itself or a continent all by itself. No. There is no such thing as the Middle East. It is all Africa. There is no such thing as the Middle East. It is all Africa. They are African. What? Yes, they are African. There is no such thing as the Middle East. It's not real. It does not exist. It's not a real place. It is all Africa. You know, I don't think people realize how big of a continent Africa actually is. Israel, Palestine are both to the north of Africa. Africa is a very large continent. There is no such thing as the Middle East. It does not exist. Now, what's going on with this conflict between Israel and Palestine? Obviously, they are fighting over clout, money, property. It's always boils down to property and money. These two countries have been fighting for generations. But today, for some strange reason, it has escalated. It has always escalated. It has always been an escalation. And now, of course, you see Christians, go into their Bible saying, oh, you see, it's the end times. This is one sign that Jesus is coming back. No, it's a sign of people fighting over money and over property. Not, every time something happens in the Christian life, it's the end times. I just farted. Okay, I just farted. That's the end times for an extreme conservative Christian. You farted, it's the end times. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Can I talk to you real like this? Can I talk to you raw like this? Can I talk to you real, unfiltered, uncensored, the truth and nothing but the truth, no matter how I deliver that truth? Because I know for a fact that I can sound a little raw and a little mean and nasty and cruel. But it's the truth though, no matter what my delivery of it is. It's the truth. It's the truth. Christians saying that this is part of what's going to happen to bring about the return of Christ, they're escalating it. Because guess what? These Israelites and these Palestinians are also seeing this on social media. So they are convincing themselves that all of this fighting is in the Bible and all this fighting has to happen because the Bible said it would happen in the last days. There is no last days. It's not real. It does not exist except in your mind. It's not real. It doesn't exist. There is no end times. There is no last days. It's imaginary. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It's only real to you because you are mentally ill. That's why it's real. But it's not real in our reality. It's not. It's really not. I'm not bad-mouthing anybody. It's the truth. And I hope a lot of people really get that. You may have seen in America, you may have seen black people calling themselves the Israelites. Well, we know from what the Bible says that Jesus was black with 4C hair, nappy hair, a big-ass nose, big-ass lips. It says so in the Bible. Read your Bible and you won't be confused. That's exactly what it says. So these black Israelites that you see on the corner or, taking up whole streets believes that they are because of the description of Jesus in the Bible. These black Israelites are not trying to convert anybody, not to, Islam or to Christianity. They just want the truth to come out, to be known, so people are not confused about what they are. And of course, you can find out what you are by simply getting a blood test, getting your genes tested to find out exactly who and what you are. Of course you can. But the conflict in Israel and Palestine that has just erupted today is purely over money and land. Money and land. And a lot of people are saying, which I have seen, a lot of people are saying, I stand with Israel. I stand with Palestine. But they never say why. Both groups have lost thousands of people, have died on both sides. Both sides. Thousands of people have died on both sides. So, what life is more important than the next life? The conflict in Israel is all about money and power, and it's being fueled. The flames are being fueled by Christians going on social media and connecting it to their Bible, that this conflict between Israel and Palestine has to happen because it's in the Bible. No, it's not happening because it's in the Bible. It's happening because it's a fight to possess money and property. That's how all wars start. All wars start because the other person wants money and power. That's all. That's all. But wait a minute, High Priestess Awesomeness. You said this has something to do with witches. Yeah, it does. We know in the Middle Ages, in Salem, Massachusetts, that people were accused, real and not real witches were accused and horrifically raped, yes, and murdered. This is just a repeat of that. What's happening in Israel and Palestine is just a repeat of what has happened to the witches in the Middle Ages and Salem, Massachusetts. It's a repeat. You know that if you don't learn your history, you are doomed to repeat it. So what is the role of every witch now that Israel and Palestine are going after each other? We have no role. We have no role. But what about the witches that live in Israel and Palestine? They're staying out of it. Oh, but one day those witches are going to have to choose a side, either Israel or Palestine, because a lot of people get this confused. Not everybody that lives in Israel is Jewish. Not everyone that lives in Palestine is Muslim. They don't all They're not robots. They don't all follow the same faith, because you don't know what people do behind closed doors. You don't know what people do behind closed doors. And why would you give two shits about it? I know there's going to come a day when the witches in Israel and Palestine will have to make a choice. And they will choose Hecate above Israel and above Palestine. That's going to happen, so write that down. There is going to come a day when the witches in Israel and Palestine will have to make a choice. And that choice will come down to standing beside Hecate, the queen of witches. They will choose Hecate. They will not choose Jews or Muslims, because they are not Jews or Muslims. That's a harsh word, but it's the truth. That's what Hecate told me. And I trust her above every other voice. The conflict in Israel and Palestine all has to do with money and property. That's it. And people are so uptight about it because Israel has nuclear weapons. Okay. And so what? So what? I mean, they haven't used them. They say, Palestine will pay a harsh, severe price, but they haven't said what that is. The only harsh or severe price it can be is the use of nuclear weapons. Israel has nuclear weapons. Israel will be okay. You don't need to pray for Israel. They will be fine. Israel has nuclear weapons. They are okay. I don't know if they might use them, because that might set a chain of events off in the rest of Africa. Because like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, there is no such thing as the Middle East. It is all Africa. They are African. They are. They would never say it publicly, but they are. It's not that you have to choose between one or the other. You don't have to choose who's killing more people, who's losing less people. Break up the violence when it comes to the possession of money and property, because that's what this conflict is about. That's what all wars is about. Money and property. That's it. That is it. Do I believe that America should stay out of it? I think America should observe it to make sure it doesn't, spill out over here. Our government can't handle that. It can't. They should observe but not get involved. You don't need to get involved because, like I just said, Israel has nuclear weapons. They will be okay. Oh, but the Palestinians are killing women and children. The Israelites are also killing women and children. You're not saying anything about that? How come you're not talking about the Israelites? How come you're not talking about Israel killing women, pregnant women, and children? How come you're not talking about that? I'm not on either side. When it comes to me personally, I'm not on either side. I'm on the side of Hecate. I stand beside Hecate, the queen of witches. That's what side I'm on. That's what side every witch should be on. That's the truth. When a choice has to be made, the true witch will choose Hecate above every other human being. Every other human being. It's not sad what's happening between Israel and Palestine. It's crazy men with big egos unwilling to come to the table and talk this out. You see, if this was a conflict involving women, it would have already been resolved. You know, people say women are so emotional. If women are so emotional, why is the conflict in Israel and Palestine being conducted by men? Wars are created by men. Wars are, started by men. And no, I'm not hating on men. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. You might not like it. You might disagree, but you can't say that I'm lying, because I'm not. It's the truth. The conflict in Israel and Palestine is over money and property. The role of the witch is to have no role in it. The role of the witch is to have no role in it, because it has nothing to do with us. I know you might be saying, oh, well, when Palestine gets finished with Israel, they will come for the witches, and the witches will meet them on the battlefield, and I will be there with them. I'm willing to die as a witch. When you are a real witch, I mean a real witch, you will die as a witch. You are willing to die as a witch. You are. You are. If you are a witch, you have to be committed all the way, 100%. So let them come for the witches. They came for the witches in the Middle Ages. They came for the witches in Salem, Massachusetts. And we're still here. Come for them. And we will meet you with equal violence. With equal violence. Remember, witches don't live by the same rules of Christianity, of the sons of Abraham, or the sons of Noah, whoever, Jesus, whoever. We don't live by those same rules. We do not. We live by our rules. That's a message that somebody needed to hear right now. That's a message somebody needed to hear right at this moment. Because it's the truth. It's the truth. And you won't win that war against witches. You won't. People laugh and make jokes and mock witches. They mock Hecate. They mock our powers. But when they come into conflict with a witch, they back down. Or they just simply die. They simply have a heart attack. They simply have respiratory failure. Their heart just stops beating when coming into the presence of a witch with the heart of violence. Because witches will always choose violence to protect themselves, protect their friends, protect their loved ones. They will always choose violence. And that violence will always be bloody. And there will be nothing left to do but watch the blood shed. That's a harsh word to say, but it could happen. If you try to, embroil, you try to include witches in this conflict between Israel and Palestine, you will leave bloody. You will be licking your wounds like a dog. You will die like a dog. If you bring that conflict, that war to witches, it's over. It's over. That's why I tell witches all the time, you are the powerhouse. You are a powerhouse. Somebody writes that down in the comments. I am a powerhouse. I am a powerhouse. I'm a witch. I am a witch. I am a witch. I am a powerhouse. I am a witch. And I am a powerhouse. Somebody write that down in the comments. I am a powerhouse. This ain't what you want. You don't want this smoke. It's not going to be all good in the hood. It's not. because there will be no talking. There will be no conversation had. There will be no negotiation. Witches don't normally, well, I don't know any witches that negotiate with people who want to fight them. I don't negotiate. I don't. If somebody wants to fight me, there is no negotiation. There is no talking. It's just hands. It's just hands. It is just hands. There is no conversation. There is no negotiation. There is no, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't mean that. Oh, I was playing with you. Oh, you know, I'm just playing with you, girl. I'm not playing. I'm not laughing either. It's not funny. This is what a real witch will come with if you bring conflict to them. So that's an answer to the question, well, what happens when the Israelites or the Palestinians get, rid of one or the other, and then they come for witches? Well, I just told you what's going to happen if this spills into the life of a witch. The witch will meet it head on. The witch will meet this head on if it's brought into their life. And the witch is not going to back down, because a witch is a powerhouse. A witch is all power, backed up by the queen of witches, Hecate. You can bring Muhammad, Jesus, Mickey Mouse, whoever. They can't stand before Hecate. They cannot. They can be put on the ground and have the shit kicked out of them by the queen of witches, and me cheering them on with a box of popcorn and my favorite soda, which is cherry Coke. But they can't fight Hecate. Why? Because Hecate protects her own. Hecate, if you are a devotee of Hecate, she protects her own. Hecate protects her own. Whatever happens to the Israelites or the Palestinians will not happen to witches. Because you know why? Because witches knew there would come a day when those of the Abrahamic faith, Christians and Muslims, would return to try to eliminate or exterminate witches completely. Witches have always known there would be a day, from the Middle Ages to Salem, Massachusetts, the witch trials of Salem, Massachusetts, that there would be a day when those of the Abrahamic faith, Christians, Muslims, Jews, would come back to try to wipe out us as witches. And we have been, ready all our lives. You think all the spells, rituals, hexes, and curses would come to nothing? It was never going to amount to nothing. It was always going to amount to something really big, really powerful. They have not experienced, these people of the Abrahamic faith have not really experienced the divine. Their experiences comes from crucifixes and confessions and being at the feet of Jesus and, facing a wall in Israel and, wearing veils covering their faces. That's their only experience with the divine. But it's not the divine. It's clownery. It's stupidity. It's stupid. What's happening in Israel and Palestine is not a result of what's been reported in the Bible. It's not. It's just old men fighting over money and property. And Christians fanning the flames, feeling the flames by going on social media and saying, see, everything that's happening today between Israel and Palestine has been predicted in the Bible. No, it has not been predicted in the Bible, because the Bible is a work of fiction. It's not real. It's just stupid stories for people who may be borderline retarded. Can I say it like that? Don't log off because of what I just said. Because it's true. Listen, it's true. The Bible is a book of fairy tales for people who are borderline retarded. That's the truth. You know, when I talk, I use very blunt words. I'm very forward when I talk. And you might get offended when you hear me talk sometimes because of my delivery. You might want me to say a different word. I can't say a different word. I have to tell you the truth, the real word, okay? So don't be offended by anything I say or my delivery of it. That's the truth. I use real words because as witches, we must always tell the truth. Okay, so don't get offended by my delivery of the truth. Just sit there and relax. Just calm down. It's okay. If it's your first time watching any of my broadcasts, you'll get used to it and eventually accept it. Or just move on. So that's what this is between Israel and Palestine. Fighting over money and property. That's it. That's it. And witches play no role. The only role that witches play is to stay out of it. This is not how Christians say prophecy being fulfilled. God said that this was going to happen. God said he would protect Israel. But Israel seems to be getting torn to pieces right now as I speak. How come God is not protecting those Israelites? Oh, because they are not true believers. They are not true faith believers. Okay, what's about the children who don't know Christ? What's about the babies in the stomachs of women who are pregnant who obviously don't know Jesus? Why are they dead? Oh, well, God works in mysterious ways. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Because you're a fucking asshole. That's a horrible thing to say. Shut the fuck up. You just have to tell people sometimes when it's time for them to shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Israel and Palestine don't care about their people, or this wouldn't be happening. Like I said, this conflict between Israel and Palestine has been happening for generations. I believe maybe 50 years now. Like, y'all can't get any women in the office to, calm things down, to smooth things over. You gotta have these old men who are near death anyway. It doesn't matter what happens because they are near death. They don't give a shit. This is being run by old men who are dying anyway. So why would they care? They're dying. They won't be here to see how it ends. They don't give a damn how it ends as long as they have the money and the property that they are currently fighting over. That's the truth. That is the truth. Everything I said this evening was approved by Hecate before I spoke. From Hecate's lips to your ears. Those witches who have an ear to hear will take in this message and take the blinders off and live in reality that this conflict between Israel and Palestine is about money and property, and this conflict in Israel and Palestine is being fueled. The flames are being fanned by Christian extremists who say that this was all predicted in the Bible. It's not real. And like I said earlier, there is no such thing as the Middle East. It is all Africa. They are African. Israel, Palestine, Africa. Look at the damn map of the world, you'll see it. It's not a real place, the Middle East. It doesn't exist. Okay, it doesn't exist. You know how surprised I was when I told somebody that a couple of years ago? Like, what you mean, Middle East? Who that? Who she at? Where she at? What's she doing? Who that? What's that mean? Yeah. So I had to come on here live because Hecate told me to come on here live to talk about this, to give you the facts, to calm your nerves, especially when it comes to witches and what witches are to do, which is nothing. And I explain why it's nothing, for the simple fact that witches are not Christians or Muslims or Jews. Witches are not of the Abrahamic faith. There is no such thing as a Christian witch. There is no such thing as a Christian witch. It's not real. It does not exist except in your imagination. That's another fact. Because you can't replace Jesus. You can't replace Hecate with Jesus. Are you retarded? Imagine replacing Hecate with Jesus. Imagine a Muslim saying that they are also a witch. Imagine replacing Hecate with Muhammad. What? That's retarded. That is retarded. And it's not a real thing. It's not real. It's not real. There is no such thing as a Christian witch. There is no such thing as a Islamic witch. It's not real. Not real. You know, they say there are Christian witches just so they can, ride our coattails. So they can get our power, so they can feel like there's somebody, so they can feel like a powerhouse. Hecate is not going to respond to a Christian or a Muslim. She is not. You either going to be a devotee of Hecate or another god or goddess or not. You can't be a devotee of Hecate and Jesus or Muhammad. That's the truth. Oh, how can you tell me what I can or cannot be? Your own religious books forbid you. That's why. Read your Bible. Read your Islamic manuscripts. Read it. That's one reason why I'm a witch. Because I read the Bible. Remember, witches, I used to be a devout Christian. I used to be a devout follower of Christ. But now I am a witch. Capital W-I-T-C-H. Witch. 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 A powerhouse. I am a witch. I am a powerhouse. You are a witch. You are a powerhouse. It's not just me. It's you also. So I had to come on here. It's burning in my spirit from Hecate that I had to come on here and talk about this issue, put a light on it, put a flame under your behind so you can know what's really going on, so you're not, spinning your wheels by following this conflict on social media and being confused and not knowing what's true and what's false and what's bullshit and what's just insanity. Now you know the truth. So I strongly encourage you, I really strongly encourage you to share this live broadcast if you haven't already done so. Share this live broadcast in your stories or in your other social media platforms and tell your fellow witch that there is a high priestess in the state of New York who is anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches and has spoken about the conflict between Israel and Palestine that has just erupted today. And that this high priestess, Autumn Phoenix, told the truth. She did not censor herself. She did not filter out her words. Her delivery may be a little rough, but she kept it all the way real, and she told not one lie. It's not me. It's Hecate who told not one lie. Hecate did not lie. When she told me about this conflict, she did not lie. Everything she said was true. So thank you, witches, for joining me for this pop-up live broadcast. I will leave this up for the replay. I will also post this on my other social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube. I think that's it. And leave it here too. I will also post this in my stories so you can rewatch from the beginning if you missed it, because this was a powerful word. This was a must-hear word. This was a word that was saturated with the presence of the Queen of Witches, Hecate, and a word that needed to be sounded off. Because I've seen that on social media, this conflict all over about Israel and Palestine, and nobody's telling the truth. So a witch has to tell the truth, because as witches, we must always tell the truth, right? Right. So thank you, witches, for joining me for this quick live pop-up broadcast. Thank you. And I really appreciate you coming to spend this time with me and to learn the truth about what's going on between Israel and Palestine and the conflict that has ensued. So with that being said, thank you, and I release you into your evening. Bye, everyone.